welcome to For Flow with Chloe. And we have had some quite tricky energies a go. I have felt incredibly emotional and drained. The life has been sucked from me the last 3-4 days. And we have had Chiron, the wounded healer, go retrograde in Aries. And today the moon has shifted from Libra into Scorpio, and that Chiron retrograde is opposing that Scorpio moon, so you might also be feeling incredibly deeply emotional as well. We also have and with it being opposing Chiron, it's like Chiron wants you to look at where you still need to heal, and what is still sort of left that's coming up for you to look back on, because it's retrograde, and take a second look at and heal from. We have got a few squares tomorrow as well, and squares do create a bit of a blockage or a bit of an obstruction, so you have lots of different energies blocking each other. So we've got the moon blocking Mercury, which is also retrograde. My god, I've had some Mercury retrograde experiences today. My car wouldn't start this morning, batteries had become disconnected. Ooh. And then I had my bank calling me because someone has tried to take some money out of my account fraudulently, so I'm going to have a new card and all that joyous Mercury retrograde type stuff. I'd managed to steer clear of it so far as well. Okay, so with all that said, we have some okay energies on the table. So we have temperance, a need for patience, and I am getting a strong healing vibe off of this one with the angel wings. It's also speaking to me a bit about how he has the sun and the moon in opposite hands. We have got an opposition with this Chiron and the moon, which creates a bit of a conflict, and I'm sensing that conflict off of here. Temperance can be where we've been overdoing it, overspending, overthinking, overexerting ourselves, over, and temperance wants to call you back into balance, to re-alchemize yourself and come back into balance with your energies. So that's interesting. We might want to listen to both energies and try to harmonize these sort of oppositions within ourselves, these where we feel like we've got opposing forces. And have we been giving too much to one or another? Just having a tot of ginger, which I bought in Obidos while I was on holiday, where everything was much brighter and more joyful than my current experience. We also have the Knight of Swords. Messages incoming fast. We have got a lot of that Uranian energy still going on with Uranus in Gemini and Aquarius, Pluto in Aquarius. There's still a hell of a load of stuff going on with that as well. What was it? Venus also has moved into Cancer today, out of Gemini and into Cancer, which is going to be calling us to nurture ourselves. That message came in suddenly to me. So thank you, Knight of Swords, you delivered that one to me really quickly. And then we have the Ace of Pentacles, growth, pure growth, a point to grow from, something to invest in, and we have it followed by the 10. So I feel like we need to come back into balance, receive the messages, and figure out our new point of growth and which one of these opposing forces, the sun and moon, do we need to go into? Which one do we need to blend it, or do we need to lean further into one? Do we need to go more internal? Have we been doing too much external, overdoing it? And do we need to come back into harmony with ourselves? Is that our growth point? And when we figure that out, we can go the whole 9 yards. We can go all the way to the 10 with it. And it's strong, it's stable, and it's like a commitment. It shows a really strong family dynamic on this card, a committed family, generations. It can also be, generational wealth, but it can also just be a committed, a commitment to growth, and a new cycle of growth is what I'm getting in this situation. I am going to pull some shadow cards from the Abyss, the Tarot of the Abyss, just because I feel like this whole Chiron-y, retrograde-y thing, I'm really feeling like, me personally, I'm like, oh my god, old wounds are triggered instantly. So let's see what the shadow cards have to say. The World, interesting. It has like a fetus on the bottom and the eye at the top, and it has this Ouroboros snake that eats itself, this infinity, this completion, this cycle. But what I'm actually getting is seeing the cycle clearly and casting your eye back over where patterns have been repeating for you throughout your life, and what do you want to clear, what cycles do you want to clear out and not repeat, so that you can go on this new path of growth. What do you need to transmute, dissolve, see, recognize in yourself? I mean, I don't really like the term, but inner child wounding with that baby there, or something to do with birthright, or something maternal. I've also got the Three of Swords, which is often triangulation, you, me, and the other, and death. I like that death card. So as well as triangulation, there is past pain, where we're being prodded and poked, and past wounds that have been inflicted upon us. And what was I saying about this whole Chiron thing, and maybe old wounds resurfacing. But we've got loads of planets retrograde as well at the moment, so this whole theme of reassessing and taking another look at things, and things coming back up. I mean, Mercury retrograde does that as well. But in this one, I'm looking at the big cavern inside his head and all of these birds flying out of it. And they all become words. And the words fall into the book in these points of pain. So it might be overthinking. as well, or where words, painful words, are still kind of trapped in your head, or maybe you need to also reassess the way you've been communicating with people, or how people have been communicating with you, or how they have done in the past. Never been quite so drawn to the letters on that card before. And then I'm also getting like telling your story. Maybe it's time to speak about something that has been kept inside, but it needs to be done. Maybe writing it down, journaling might help, like release something that is still trapped in there. That might be a good way of absolving some of this, like letting it out but onto the page and releasing this kind of shadow that way. And then the death card. Death, remember, is also rebirth. We also have the baby, the fetus there. Death, rebirth, the endless cycle, infinite. And without an ending, there can be no new beginning. I love the way that she sort of has, she's part of the landscape, and she has the tree, and then she sort of opens up. Within her gown is this almost like sparkles, and this is actually really quite bizarre, because I did actually have, when I did a sound bath recently, I did actually have quite a similar vision that that's reminded me of. The woman that was sort of morphed into a tree, and she had these two nests in her hands with eggs and birds landing on them, but then inside her she had this big hole, like a tree hole, in like a big pregnant stomach, and she opened up the hole, and like I went inside. And there was like, it was all like stars and things inside there. It's like a portal. There's a rebirth. There's something you need to process to have a rebirth. And recommit to yourself to come into this strong stability again of this like new earth. This new earth. Releasing past ways and structures and shadows that are connected to it. That was very channely. Okay, I'm going to take some from the Unfolding Path. Yeah, I just felt really, really drawn to do a reading under all this energy. We do, on the positive, we have Lammas tomorrow on the 1st. So something super, and with Venus going into Cancer, something super nice to do is maybe bake some bread or a cake, because that's what people do on Lammas, to celebrate, you know, the grains and the time of like harvest. I think it's something to do with like back in there, like not leaving the wheat in the field too long to die. You're having to get like the best of the wheat, and so you had to do lots of baking of the what they'd cut. Okay, I've got 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay. So we have the Page of Cups, a little bit of emotion. Look how hopeful he is about those little fishies. And there's lots of magic. He's got his little cup, and he's got his little magic cosmic fish swimming out of it. So there is a little bit of hope and joy to be discovered. And it's quite fresh. We also have the Ace of Cups, which is gorgeous. Notice we have this white dove on there as well, which I feel goes with him with his big white wings. Our Temperance card. And obviously the lotus flower is quite a rebirth from the murky depths. And we have this big dove flying out of the cup and this little heart. And so it's, you know, a resurgence of love, growth in, you know, emotional way, and peace. And I'm getting a release as well, a peaceful release, like an unburdening, and like a new beginning I'm getting from that dove as well. Then we have a Pentacles card again to go with those other Pentacle cards from earlier. Quite like this one. There's a magic hat on. This is it Jupiter? I think is it Jupiter in Capricorn? And it's like expanding and making, we've got this infinity symbol again, haven't we? Round and round, round and round. We had the infinity symbol on there as well. This is like expanding our growth. And so it goes back to this finding our new point of growth with our Ace. And finding our new starting point of where we're going to reinvest in ourselves. And then we start to expand it and like use our cosmic magic to get some real life results and expansion. And then we get the 6, which is lovely. Harmonious, giving, receiving. Look at all the little posies popping out the cups. And, you know, they're sharing the abundance and the glory of this blissful smell of the flowers together. And just having a real shared moment. And this kind of blossoming of renewal I'm getting again. Growth again. So there is a lot to relook at and process and release, to sort of cast our eye back over, recognise, and then realise what it is that we need to still work on, release, take another look at in our healing journey. And then once we have released it, we can go on to this nice emotional joy and expansion and harmony, the giving and the receiving. And, you know, we have this like opposition-y energy I was talking about at the beginning, and how do we balance and harmonise that energy, and by the end we have harmony and balance emotionally, because cups are our emotions. And we have this real life expansion of our growth for our new intended growth cycle. I am going to take one from the goddess of love, because I feel like they are very kind cards, they're very nurturing cards, and that Venus has just gone into Cancer, which is the nurturing sign. The mother, how to mother ourselves. We get rest. I've been resting a lot today, I had to. It's not so weak. Be still and listen. And maybe that is how you're going to tune in to what it is you need to heal from. It gave me 3, so I'm going to take them all. Joy. What was I saying? Look at the joy. Look at the joy on his face. He's so just delighted by his little magical fish. Joy. Embrace the blessings of life. The blessing of life. Like literally, I'm alive. Isn't it great? I'm alive. Dedication. Your challenges will reap rewards. And this is what I was saying about finding that new growth point, making that new commitment to yourself, or realizing what it is you need to commit to dedicate yourself to, or dedicate to yourself. Right, I've made a right scattery mess with these tarot boxes that are all over the place. As it's going to be Lammas season tomorrow, seasons of the witch. Lammas oracle. Let's see what the Lammas has to say. But yeah, very sort of nurturing festival to do with feeding and baking and wheat growth. Farm to table. Liberate yourself from influence and invoke the power within. So free yourself from, these things that have been troubling you or weighing you down and influencing you, and find your strength. Find your inner power to overcome and heal. Do it by resting. So that you can rediscover your joy, because when we've got no energy, when we're feeling drained, we can't enjoy anything to our fullest, can we? I'm going to take one more. How are we going to invoke that power within? What are these influences? It's given me 3 more. Poetry. And what was I saying about words? There we go. Some of you might need to write or read some poetry, because remember I showed you the Bookman on the 3 of Swords, and I was saying about maybe journaling, or like releasing it through words, but not necessarily spoken words. Poetry. Invoke your words for good and use them to uplift yourself and others. Lovely. Bird feeder. Even tiny action in the pursuit of growth, we've been talking about growth the whole way through, is a powerful step in the right direction. So, baby steps. She's got a book again, look, as well. And tiger's eye. I love tiger's eye crystal. A new path and opportunities for positive transformation await you. And she's got her little grains on there as well, and her lovely big piece of tiger's eye. So maybe get your tiger's eye crystal out as well and have a hold of that while you think about your new opportunities and your growth point, because tiger's eye is a very powerful stone of growth and transformation. And that's the reading, guys. Enjoy and be kind to yourselves. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe and all that jazz. Bye.